friends get together so they can try things. You're invited to this podcast so that you can try things. Now we will stop singing so that we can all now try this.
Hello and welcome to Now Try This, the podcast where two best friends get together every week to try something new. I'm Marcus, and that beautiful scarfed man over there is Nick.
Marcus, it's New York City and it's cold. It is cold. I was freezing. Yo, for real talk, 2 days ago when it was like blistering cold out, it was, I wasn't very happy.
Wow, that was some serious real talk. I'm glad you didn't hold anything back.
Listen, buddy. Guys, welcome to Now Try This. We do try new things, but one of us, it's not new. We challenge each other. And this week was my challenge to Marcus. And soon, we are going to have a challenge brought to you by you guys. That's right, the Patreon, patreon.com/nowtrythiscast. We're currently taking submissions for next month's challenge. And then even the dollar tiers get to vote on what that challenge is going to be. So next month we can do what you want us to do. And we also have other things in the works, but we need more people to join that Patreon to be able to fulfill those wants. So please go join us.
True. We're trying to reach 30 patrons so we can do a nice little giveaway.
Yes. Now, if you don't have any money, redistribute your priorities so you can fund us. But if you still can't, then at least please leave us 5-star reviews on either Spotify or iTunes, just like Ariel49 did on iTunes. They said, "What an absolute joy. 5 stars. Just discovered this podcast and I am already hooked. I am so excited to dive into their backlog. By the way, Nicholas is way more sexy than Marcus."
Wow, what an honest and lovely review.
You know, sometimes the truth just has to be said. Real talk? Real talk? Sometimes the truth just needs to come out.
Marcus, happens, and I accept these kinds of reviews as long as they're 5 stars.
Marcus, I'm gonna lift the curtain from the podcast for 2 seconds.
Sure.
I hope you don't mind. Last week we did Hawkeye, and you were dreading it a little bit.
I was.
You were dreading it a little bit because lots of different reasons, but it ended up being a fantastic conversation that I think people would really like. What do you think?
I think people would love to listen to us talk about Hawkeye. I was doing the clips for the Hawkeye episode, and I was laughing and having a good time rewatching it. So it's a good episode, a good conversation, and if you watched Hawkeye, it's a good episode to have people listen and talk about.
Guys, if we can't make ourselves laugh, what's the point of us trying to make you laugh?
Yeah. Hello, Nick Mason in the chat. Thanks for joining us, beautiful boys.
As you guys can, every 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, usually on Thursdays at twitch.tv/nowtrythiscast. But this week we're doing Monday because we got a birthday boy coming up this week.
I'm the birthday boy.
You're going to be 37 years old.
32 years old. 32 years young.
20? Can I tell
My
you something?
balls
I was
haven't dropped
talking
yet.
with I was talking with my partner's mother this morning. She called, we talked, it was nice. She was like, "What do you want for your birthday?" Because my birthday's coming up next month. She asked how old I was. I said, Lexi said 32, and her mom went, "What? He's that old?" And I was like, "No, stop. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing my birthday this month. I'm not gonna be 32. I will be 29 this year. I have decided. Marcus, do not wish me a happy birthday. Everyone out there, ignore my birthday. I'm 29. I'm still in my 20s. I'm looking fresh, looking hot. And that is what we are keeping it.
That's where I'm at too. I'm 29. That is it.
Great.
I'll be 32 when I have a kid. Then I can be
just
32.
a couple of late 20s sexy boys here and doing their podcast.
Yeah, that's it. It's fine.
That's right. Now, Marcus, before we get into Encanto, there's a lot to say. There's a lot to do. We're not going to spend too much time not doing it. I want to check in with you. We haven't done this in a while. Have you been trying anything new that we haven't been able to talk about on the podcast?
You're right.
Is there anything going on in your life?
We've been busy being good podcast hosts and getting right to the subject matter.
That's not true. We've been getting even farther in tangents. At least this tangent is like the conceit of the show. We usually get even farther.
Yeah, I went to go see. I'm starting to look at houses for potential purchasing of a house.
You're 32. You're 30.
Oh no! Once I get a house, then I'll accept 32. But
okay, that sounds
until
good.
then, 29. Yeah, so it's been an interesting process. It's difficult. You got to work with your budget and figure shit out. And also, I live too close to New York City, so proximity to New York City increases houses by like $100,000 to $200,000.
Worth it though for that nice slice of Big Apple pie.
Love it.
Cheesecake, right?
It's pie.
New York
Big apple pie sounds good. That was smooth.
Big Apple. Well, it's like wrong. It's like a misnomer because it's Big Apple. And then there's like New York cheesecake, which is a pie. So what have I been doing new? Oh my goodness.
Smooth transition.
Not too much stuff. I am in the season now where I've realized that this past year has been so busy. I missed so many Oscar contenders and great movies, and now all these lists are coming out of people's favorite movies, and I've missed all of them. So last night I watched Coda. Do you know this movie?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Have you seen it?
No.
It is an Apple TV original movie. Watched it with Lexi. It's about this family. It follows this one girl. Her mother, father, and brother are all deaf, capital D, and she is not. So she's had to be their like interpreter her whole entire life. And it was just such a nice family drama. It was tropey, but like in the best way possible, right? Like that feel good tropey kind of way. And it really had something nice to say. The actors were really, really good. The main girl was fantastic. The father in it was phenomenal. He made me cry. I was tears by the end of the movie. I hope he gets an Oscar nom. I don't know if he will. It was a quiet performance. No pun intended, honestly. It's kind of a rude pun. But well, because they don't
I got it. No, I got it.
Because they can't.
Someone else loved that joke because Halverica just resubscribed with his Amazon Prime.
We're subscribing at tier 1 on Twitch. Guys, you can subscribe to us on Twitch for free with your Amazon Prime. So get in there. But yeah, are you going to watch Coda?
Yeah, I think I am going to watch Coda. I worked a lot with deaf communities in my last job because it was a theater company, and so they had a lot of performances that were interpreted by Hands On, which is a company in New York that does sign interpretation for theater. So we had a lot of deaf families come in, and it was really nice seeing the kind of mix of like the husband is deaf but the wife isn't deaf and the kid is deaf, or like whatever kind of mix of that happening, and who has to translate for who, and like it was really interesting.
I'll spoil one little scene from it just because to play off of what you're just saying. At one point the main girl asks her mom, do you wish I was deaf? And the mom says yes, because I thought you would hate me and not be able to relate to me if you weren't like me. And that's just one of those things that anybody can relate to, right? That disconnect from your family, that disconnect to be going on. And speaking of family drama, let's get into our review today of Encanto. Wow,
Marcus, you really did cut yourself off to refocus the podcast. I'm inspired.
Listen, this is the hard work. I'm doing God's work over here. Marcus, the Disney film, the 60th animated film from Disney. 60th.
Wow.
What a number. I wonder, we should, at the end of the podcast, we should take a look to see how many we've seen. I think
only
I've seen most of them.
2 of 60 were about Hispanic families. That's impressive that you could ignore an entire race for that long. It's very good. Good work, Disney.
I feel like you're making a joke.
Group of people.
I feel like you're making a joke, but what's the second one?
Coco.
That's Pixar.
Oh, no, but it's Disney still. It's under the Disney umbrella.
No, yeah, but it doesn't count towards that original.
Oh, does it count towards
film.
the 60? Oh, wow.
Pixar
So the first
studio is under the umbrella. Yeah. So this is the first.
Oh, that's embarrassing. What the fuck?
Yeah, when I was watching this, I was painstakingly aware, like, this is Colombians, and then we had one with African Americans. I'm done speaking. That was more. No, we had one with Pacific Islanders, which was nice. Moana, I love Moana.
Mulan,
Pocahontas. Oh, you know what? Mulan is a great film. I love Mulan.
Mulan is fantastic. Mulan is great,
and I feel like people don't knock it from being like culturally insensitive. Aladdin is awful. Aladdin is the most culturally insensitive thing you could do, because they were like, you know that place, the Middle East?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, it's about that place. Yeah, but like what? Like where?
Which part?
Like
what culture?
What part? It's
all
but
like Aladdin's
very,
fucking
very
great.
different. No, the
Aladdin's
brown people.
Fucking great.
It's a great film. You know, and Lion King has lines. But Marcus, the 60th animated film Encanto, I was highly anticipating this film for lots of different reasons. One, I love Disney movies. Another, this current era of Disney films, I think people are going to look back on it with way more fondness than I think we are currently doing. But I think starting with Tangled, when they went to this 3D style, I think that was the first one. I think is when this renaissance, like people talk about the Silver Age and the Golden Age. I don't know what they're going to call this age, but I think it's Tangled, Frozen, Moana, this film. I might be missing one in there, but this current era of Disney and Disney princesses and Disney animated films, I have been loving it. I've been so all about it. Lin-Manuel Miranda is one of my idols. He's from our island. I love him so much. I love everything he's ever done so far. But I'm curious about you. We know I'm a Lin-Manuel Miranda head. We know I love musicals. We know I love animated films. We know I love all these things.
Yeah.
I'm a sucker for this. I was gonna love this no matter what. You are able to be a little more critical than I am about these things. Just a little. I think you like these things a
Okay.
lot too. But just a
Uh-huh.
little, I think. So set me up. What did you know beforehand? Were you excited to watch this? When did you watch this? How did you watch this?
So Encanto was a
I'm sorry, I think you said it wrong.
Encanto.
Thank you so much.
Encanto
You are
was on
Puerto
my
Rican. You should let
radar.
people know that you are
Encanto.
Latin. Come on.
Encanto was on my radar for a minute, and I was excited to watch it, but then it came out and I didn't even know it came out with the pandemic going on. It's hard to know what's only in
Pandemic.
theaters and what's like streaming and what's available where. And I
The
used
pandemic
to
has made a whole wrench in all of theater going
Yes.
experiences for the last 2 years, right?
Yes.
There's
Yeah.
so many things I just missed the boat on. I just don't know where it is, what's going on. It's crazy.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, okay, how long is it going to be in theaters versus when is it going to go into streaming? Like, that's a huge thing you have to take into consideration, because if it's only given in theaters for a limited time, then it's probably not worth it. Just watch it at home. And I love going to the movie theaters. I know you went a lot more than I did, but it's something I do enjoy. I would go once a week, but
Once a week's a lot. Once a week's a lot.
It's a good amount.
That's a lot. That's more than most people.
But with everything going on, I still don't feel super comfortable going to the movie theaters. So
Yeah.
this was something I was like, whenever it's on streaming, that's when I'll watch it. And eventually you gave it to me for the podcast, so now I'm watching it for the podcast. I'm happy to talk about it. I'm excited to talk about it because there's a lot going on. Lin-Manuel Miranda, we could talk a little bit more about, but I have opinions, and I will wait till we're ready to talk about him.
I'm gonna say this right off the bat. I was looking at a list of somebody's or Rotten Tomatoes top 10 movie musicals of the year of what's come out, and 4 out of the top 5 Rotten Tomatoes have been Lin-Manuel Miranda works.
Yeah,
there was In the Heights, Encanto, Tick Tick Boom,
He's
Vivo, and West Side Story were the 5.
Yeah,
which he even has a connection to because he helped translate it on Broadway for Spanish. So he is on the pulse. He is here. He is doing this. And I've been excited about this because he has been working on this for years. Now, when Disney scooped him up for Moana to help with that music, he helped with that music. He came in later to the process, did the songs. They are his songs, but he wasn't involved. This one, I think he has a co-writing credit.
Yeah.
Because he was there from its inception, there to be involved with it. In hindsight, I would be really curious to know how much he did, how much the main 2 directors, how much the assistant director, how much the screenplay writer, how much all these people really did.
From what I saw a little bit while looking into it, there is an ebb and flow, a little bit. Sometimes he would write something like a song or something, and then it would inspire the character's design a little bit more, and that's kind of how it worked.
And
so
vice
they played
versa.
off each other a little bit,
which I love. I would say I think some people think Lin-Manuel is overrated. Some people don't like him. Some people love him too much. I will say this, no matter what argument you have, and you can tell by the way everyone ever talks about working with him, he is probably right now the best collaborator we have.
I agree.
He comes to the table and he knows how to use the people around him, inspire them.
Yeah.
I remember just telling Lexi a story about Hamilton where Leslie Odom Jr. heard his song "Wait for It" for the first time, and he was like, "This ain't it.
Yeah.
This isn't it. This is I don't know what this is. Da 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 da. This is weird. I don't like it. This isn't gonna be it." And then he was obviously so wrong. It's one of the big moments of the show where Aaron Burr sings a song and it kind of dictates how the whole show is framed. And he was like, yeah, now I just trust Lin. I just trust Lin. I'm wrong and he's right, But
that's awesome. I guess we're talking about Lin-Manuel Miranda, so let's talk about him. I will say this. I have 0 problems with him. I think he's a genius. I think he's incredibly talented. I think he's one of the most talented musical artists right now. I think he is multifaceted.
Hit after hit.
He's able to create so much. My main issue isn't an issue with Lin-Manuel Miranda. My main issue is with capitalism and corporations, where if something's hot right now, they oversaturate it, and they have a tendency, especially with minorities, to only hire the minorities that have been vetted by society already.
Yeah.
And so that's why in a lot of things that are Hispanic, you see the same 5 people in it. in a lot of
You see,
things
it's
that
the same
are
with blacks. It's the same with Asian Americans. It's the
same
same
with
all over. Yeah.
yes. So casting
Yeah.
wise, it's like yes, exactly. In the chat, they're saying he's basically tokenized. Like yeah, it's like we
Yeah.
found the one good minority. Let's like elevate him and make him do everything that has to do with that race. And it's like that's not good. That's not a good way of
Yeah.
living in a society and having representation. It's like you're throwing crumbs at us. And it's like, ah, yes,
Yeah.
finally we get some representation. And we have to hold on to that little crumb and be so grateful that you gave us a fucking one Hispanic Disney movie. Thank you. You know, like, so that is my main problem. I feel like he's kind of the face of that for Hispanics right now, which isn't his fault at all, but it just is kind of annoying.
I will say that I agree with everything you're saying. I will say though, just to play devil's advocate on the other side, it's kind of the thing where it's like I'm not saying like it's necessary, like these are first steps. Like there's such a discussion to be had that honestly would take more than this podcast, and honestly take more experts than we are about what are the steps we need to do to be able to get our stories across. Like, is this the first step? Are we doing it wrong? Yada yada yada. But it makes me think of this conversation makes me think of a story I heard about Tyler Perry. This one actor who worked on Broadway came to speak at our school, and he talked to all the people of color in the acting department. And he was talking, and somebody asked him about Tyler Perry, because Tyler Perry is another one where he is also tokenized, right? People think to the point where he caricatures the Black community to a degree that is harmful to the Black community. People think that. People think that up and down. And he thought that. The actor thought that. You know, he agreed with that. But then he got a job as a one-day guest star on one of his shows, and he went there and he was like, the cameraman was Black, my costumer was Black, everyone on set was Black. Tyler Perry is giving us jobs, you know? So and Tyler Perry will even talk about it, is like, yes, this is happening, everything you're saying is granted. But I feel like I just watched something where it's like, oh, we talked about it in Last Night in Miami. We talked a lot about this in Last Night in Miami. Remember that? Where it basically it's like, am I bending a knee for the white man? Yes. But by doing it, I'm getting power and money, and that is how I win. That is how we win. Is that correct? I don't know, but that is the argument on one of the
for
sides,
sure. I get that, but also at the same time, I think that like the fact that like it happens at all is still wrong, and it's something that needs to be mentioned.
Oh yeah, totally.
In an episode that we're talking about.
The fact that when you go to watch Hamilton, everyone in the audience is white, is the problem, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they do stuff about it. They give away free tickets. They try to get people there, and then that also comes into this film, right? Because Encanto, you know, it is a Disney film. We make jokes about it all the time, but Disney is a corporation. They silence people who disobey them. They do not let people pirate any of their stuff to such a degree. They are the biggest conglomerate in the entertainment field, and they control it with a vice grip. You hear the stories of the people being their cartoon characters in the parks and what they have to go through. You hear about the degree.
And
however,
I was gonna say, and the fact that they buy like characters from you and they own it forever, and they try to like write contracts that steal the characters and your like life's work, so that we can never have access to them again, and your family will stop gaining money from the work your father did.
However, my God, did I love this film?
That being said, this film was fun. But it just has to be said. Like, I just feel like 100%. It has to be said, you know, and we can get into how great and wonderful the film is, and that it's great that it exists. I think it's awesome because I think like just representation matters so much. You get to see like the fact that kids will be watching this movie is incredible.
I haven't felt like this since we did Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. I think that
I fucking love that movie.
Watching something on screen, on a big screen, on a big budget, and it being everywhere and everyone praising it with people that look like you is something that can't be quantified. I can't explain it to my white friends. I can't explain it to someone who has gone their whole life watching content and not seeing them or their families, and then getting the chance to do it. It's how I felt watching In the Heights for the first time on stage. I'm an actor. I was a stage actor first, and I did a lot of white people shit. We had West Side Story, and that's it. I didn't get it. Like, I was like, yeah, sure, I'll be in Fiddler on the Roof. Love this show. Great. But then I saw The Heights, and I was like, oh, that's me. And that's so special. And I felt that here. And I also felt that during Into the Spider-Verse, where it was like the fact that that character was Black and Hispanic was a part of who he was, not who he was. Like, I don't know how to explain that better, but that's also what this movie does. It is such a celebration. At no point did I feel. Do some people feel marginalized and tokenized by this movie? Probably. I can't belittle what they're saying. Did I? Because these characters were treated with such care in my eyes in this film that I didn't feel short shrifted at all. I felt like this movie has such as much care in its story and characters Frozen did, or Tangled, or Beauty and the Beast, or Lion King, or any of Disney's tentpoles. Honestly, even more than Coco. Coco, I love. If you watch it back, I think it feels a little like a cop out because it all takes place in a skeleton world. It's all like meta jokes about Hispanic culture. It's about what Mexicans do. It's not about being Mexican. While this movie is about being Colombian. It's about being in that community. There are things here.
But that being said, they still are in a society that is separate from the rest of the world because they escaped, which is like interesting.
But dude, whoa, let's start right there, right at the fucking beginning.
Great.
Yeah, let's start right at the fucking beginning. This movie starts with showing a Colombian civil war.
True.
And having the family run away, and that's why the Encanto gets created. Marcus, they let this story start with a Hispanic civil war in Colombia. Whoa.
It's kind of crazy. Yeah. The fact that they showed that and that was the story and that's something that's relatable, like just Hispanics of any nationality, you know, having to leave their home and come to a different country is something that so many people can relate to.
Yeah. And that thought of you going there is your Encanto, your enchantment, your home, your safe haven, you know? There's so much talk all this time about, you know, why would you come here? Why are you going to come to this country? Why, you know, immigration is something that's talked about. It's such a high topic that the human aspect always gets so lost, you know?
Yeah.
But like, you know, not everyone gets the chance to have a magical house and magic powers, but that feeling of that enchantment, that blessing of the miracle is what I feel like people feel when they get out of their shitty situations. I feel like my family felt that when they got off the island and got to the States, you know?
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, so this movie starts with a civil war. And then we meet Maribel Madrigal. What did you think of Maribel?
So it starts off with Maribel pretty much immediately singing a song about like, hey, I'm going to show you my family. I'm going to introduce you to everybody and set up the universe. And it's typical musical, you know, opening number.
Yeah, it's the Bonjour at the beginning of Beauty and the Beast. It's Arabian Nights and Aladdin. It's
God,
you know, it's
Bonjour is such a good opening song.
Bonjour.
Yeah.
It's
all
the
you
prototypical.
People are fucking stupid, and I love to read my books. It's great. It's a good one.
Yeah, and this one does that. It does that.
And it was much needed too, because I feel like the family is big. The concept of the world too is pretty unique. So without that explanation, I feel like a lot of viewers would be lost.
And also to speak about it, the non-nuclear family, right, is something you don't see that much. We know it well. In this family, Maribel lives with her mother, her father, her aunt, her uncle, her cousins, her grandma. They all live under the same house.
Yeah.
There's so many people that don't know what that is and what that's like. We do.
Stressful.
We know what that's like.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, I definitely know what that was like.
I lived with my grandma most of my adolescence because we had to for lots of different reasons. And we had uncles and cousins coming and going all the time.
Yep.
You know?
At one point, I was living in a 2-bedroom apartment in the Bronx with my grandma, my 2 uncles, my mom, my brother, and my sister, just all there. And then at one point, my aunt decided to come and stay like for a week. So it was 7 people in a tiny 2-bedroom apartment. It was a lot. There were a lot of cots and sleeping on the floors.
Yeah, and the whole song is this celebration of this big family right at the beginning. Now, I'm going to tell you right off the bat my feelings about this movie. When I first watched it, I thought, what a weird movie. It's just so unprototypical, anti-prototypical. It's so against the grain for so many things that I know about Disney and these movies that I was just like, I left like not expecting any of it. So I was just like, wow. I mean, I cried, I loved it. I was like, why did they do this? Why did they do that? This is so weird. What a weird movie. And then the next day I was still thinking about the movie. And the next day I was still thinking about the movie. And the next day I was still thinking about the movie, and I was like, oh shit, I need to watch the movie again. And then I watched it again and I was like, wow. Now that I know what I was supposed to be expecting to this movie, I think it's genius and there's nothing wrong with it at all. I didn't need to watch it twice, so it's not perfect.
That's fair.
But that is how I feel.
That's fair. I will say this. I don't think we should go step by step in the movie, because I think we should talk about highlights, favorite characters, songs, things we didn't like, and we can jump around a lot because I think the plot's pretty straightforward.
It is. What's
Marabella is like, hey, oh no, the family house is cracking. We're falling apart. And then she saves
something
the
is wrong. Something is happening to them. So something has happened. So it's this. Okay, so it's a family and they all have superpowers except Maribel, but something is happening. The miracle is getting lost. She's on a mission to try to solve it. Turns out the solution was love and family, and then it's fixed. But that's the thing. The whole movie takes place at the house. What Disney movie isn't some torrent adventure across landscapes?
Yes.
And there's no villain.
There's no villain, which I do want to talk about for a little bit, because
wild.
I think
whatever you want.
I don't think it ruined the movie or anything like that. Like, don't. I am gonna say this, and I'm gonna talk to you, and I don't want you to like attack me because I feel
I'm gonna attack
I feel bad about saying
you.
anything wrong about this movie, even though I like it. I don't think not having a villain made the movie suffer, but not having a villain felt like it didn't have the button on it that a lot of Disney movies have, where it's like, this is a complete story. But that's a good thing, in my opinion, because Frozen, at the end of Frozen 1, it's the button, the movie's over. I no longer need to be in the world of Frozen. I don't need a Frozen 2. Get me out of Frozen. I don't need a Frozen TV series, a Frozen play. I don't need more Frozen things. Frozen 1 was good enough. Now, granted, Frozen 2 gave me the banger Into the Woods, or Lost in the Woods, which is fucking great. But still, that being said, I didn't need more Frozen. At the end of Tangled, I didn't need more Tangled. At the end of all these movies,
I don't know. That Tangled animated show is supposed to be really good.
Sure. And I might watch it, but I didn't need more. Disney gave me more, but I didn't need more. But I watched this, and at the end of it, the story felt so personal and so intimate that it felt like, okay, cool. Now we've established all these characters and I like them. Give me more. It was one of the first Disney movies I've watched in a while where I was like, okay, cool, great. I want more now. Where is more? So like, I want a second movie with a villain. I want a TV series with villains or something interesting going on. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing more of these characters in another film, and I think that's great.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think you're completely right. I think the fake out of Bruno being the villain and then not being the villain was so satisfying. It was such a redirect. I didn't know where this movie was going. I was there and I was like, are we leaving the house? This is why I needed to watch it a second time, because I was like, this is setting up to leave the house. She just had a big song about going out there
going on an adventure. Yep.
And she hasn't left the house.
There's no big adventure and there's no big villain to defeat. It was weird.
And then I'm like, she literally puts on her bag to go figure it out, the vision. I'm like, oh, she's on an adventure. Great.
Yes.
Oh, it's in the room in the house. Oh, she's out. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Bruno. Don't talk about Bruno. Okay, he's the villain. Got it. And then we meet Bruno. I'm like, oh, he's not the villain. Who's the villain? I mean, a little bit the grandma.
The grandma, let's talk about the grandma. The grandma is definitely as close to a villain as we're gonna get from this movie.
But how perfect was the grandma? So I don't know about you, but
she's great. The grandma was a perfect character.
This conceit that the elder of the Hispanic family is too stuck in her ways and is too conservative is so correct. Yes. I mean, how many grandmas and abuelas don't talk to their kid because they're LGBTQ? How many grandmas don't talk to their kids because they married a black guy or a white guy? You know, how many grandmas and grandpas don't like talk to their kids because they became an actor or they went to be a chef when they should have been an architect? Like, that is such, like, I know it happens in white families.
Hispanic grandma thing.
I know it does, but the Hispanic grandma is just, it hits different.
It hits different. It's like, okay, here's what happens sort of that's a little different from the white families. The Hispanic grandma in a lot of families is the first person who made the trip here. They did it so that they could have a better life, but not them. They did it so they could give their children and their children's children a better life. And so when they set up themselves and they've done all this work, you know, especially in this movie, the grandfather died, like she lost everything she had to make this trip, to make this journey. What are you doing?
Yeah.
what are you doing with the gift I've given you? Is a lot of the is that like
The
where
guilt.
that comes from?
I think Hispanic guilt is such a real thing. And I think what you're describing is also really, really well portrayed in another Lin-Manuel Miranda thing with Abuela Claudia's song in The Heights. I think
Mm,
also like what she did to come from Cuba to come here is like
yeah,
that same thing you're talking about.
yeah,
I think the thing that I wanted to almost talk to you the most about this film, because I know you can relate, generational trauma. This is a movie about generational trauma. This is a
yeah.
Disney animated musical movie that the main theme, the main point, the thing the whole thing is about. We find out that's the answer to the whole puzzle
Mhm.
is the grandmother's trauma has influenced her entire family for 3 generations.
It's true.
Maribel is the way she is because of the trauma the grandma felt, and they address it. There's a song in Dos Ogritas when the abuela goes from having a husband to not having a husband to being a widow and having to mother these 3 children, and she puts on the symbolic black shawl. It's literally the weight of her grief and trauma, the burden she has given herself, exactly what you're describing.
Yeah.
And you see how it affects everybody's personality, from Bruno to Julieta to Peppa to Maribel and the
Yeah.
grandkids. It's generational trauma is so real. It is so real. And it really made me think about what I have and what I don't have and how I am because of my mother and
Mhm.
my grandmother and like what they did and why I am the way. There's so many times now that I think you would describe me. I know Lexi would sometimes, is I am stubborn. One of my personality quirks of me as a person is my stubbornness.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a good thing. Sometimes it means I'm smart and strong-willed. Sometimes it's annoying because I'm so stubborn. But the reason I'm so stubborn is
Mhm.
because of that generational trauma. Because
Mm.
I see the way that my mother was treated by my grandmother, and my mother rebelled against my grandmother the same way that is happening in this movie. And she went out and did her own thing. And I see that relationship. And my mother was so erratic in her life because of the foundation my grandmother set that now I need that foundation back, and I'm a rock. It's
Mhm.
hard to budge me. And that's what
That's
this
so
movie's
interesting.
talking about.
Yeah, that's a really good point. That oh
Yeah.
god, every song in this
What
is
about you?
like so powerful. Me? I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like what was I saying? I said during the movie that the like most fictional thing about this movie is that the abuela changes her mind at the end of it.
It's hard.
Because I feel
It's
like
hard.
sometimes grandmas they are steadfast in their ways and they will not
Yeah.
change or budge for
Yeah.
anything, and not being willing to
It's
like
tough.
accept who people are, and
Is my
it's
65, 70-year-old abuela going to go to therapy? No.
exactly, yeah. And it's really
Yeah.
interesting to kind of have to deal with that, and like I don't know, just like the same thing, like you deal with the sort of like I think people don't realize that even though this is sort of like the land of opportunity, you come here and it takes a few generations for people to really feel the advantages of even being in this country.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
both my grandmas on both sides came here, and like they weren't living lavish lives. They weren't getting all these benefits from the government and how like they were
Yeah.
struggling, and because they were struggling, then my mom was struggling, and then because my mom was struggling, like I was struggling.
Mhm.
And like it takes a few generations to kind of crawl out of that hole, which I feel like a lot of people don't realize.
Yeah. I completely agree. And just it blows my mind that that's what this movie is about. Right?
Yeah,
Like that doesn't happen. And generational trauma, I feel like, is a newer, buzzier kind of word and thing that people have
for
been talking
sure.
about in the last couple of years as we've been contending with, and we've been slowly ripping away the seams of therapy and figuring out ourselves and trying to better ourselves over the last like 10 years. I feel like people have really like come to terms with this thing about,
Yeah,
we do come from our mothers and our parents, and they tried the best they could, but there are coping mechanisms that we have because of that maybe we don't need now, and this is how we grow, right?
100%.
And the fact that this movie's about that is just wild. It is wild.
It is crazy. It is
That by the
absolutely
time
crazy.
you get to Dos Ogritas, Storm Lantern 33, I cry every time I hear Dos Ogritas. I do too, because the fact that this whole movie culminates in the grandmother realizing that she has lost sight of loving her granddaughter and loving her children, and that coming to terms of that Dos Oruguitas telling the story of trauma through song, and the fact that they show that song in flashback
Yeah.
and let Maribel watch that. I wasn't sold on Maribel watching these inner thought songs throughout this whole time until I got to this moment. I'm like, oh shit, this is really working. And
Mhm.
then to let the whole song be in Spanish, I didn't get all the words. I'm not a native Spanish speaker. It's my second language. I got some of it. I did not
Mhm.
get all of it, but it hit me.
Yeah.
It hit me
Yeah.
right away because
Yeah.
that is my familial language.
Mhm.
And the fact that they don't, you do one or two words in Spanish, then you go to the
Yeah,
English and then you do this thing. The whole song is in Spanish.
I love that.
Marcus.
I love that.
It was
You know
wild.
what's so funny? I was thinking about this. There is a disconnect for people when they view things, right? Like sometimes I see people watch a movie who are like, or like racist people will like a movie that's about like Encanto or something, or like people
Yeah.
who are anti-communist or Republican will be like, watch. I don't know, some movie where it's like the whole message is like stopping capitalism, and they're like, yeah, I love
Yeah.
this movie. And it's like, okay, but like, did you get the message? Did you appreciate the message? And so sometimes I watch a movie like this and I'm like, are there racist people watching this? Just like not getting the message, or like still
Yeah.
remaining like very anti-immigration.
100% probably. Storm Lantern in the chat. You feel it. I don't speak Spanish, but his emotion behind it in that song hits you in the heart. Yes. Everybody brings their A game in this song. I will say, just to hop around, Stephanie Beatrice, who is from Brooklyn Nine-Nine, she was
Mhm.
in The Heights. She voices Maribel. I was shocked by one, how well she sang, but two, how she personified this character. At no point did I hear her. I heard Mirabelle the whole time. And she
Yeah.
sang it lovely. And that's true all the way through the entire canon of this movie. Everybody was pitch perfect, I
I
thought.
think she specifically also is a pretty good voice actress, because like the voice she does for Brooklyn Nine-Nine isn't her real voice. Her voice is
Yeah,
very
she's
high
great.
pitched, and like I don't want to say
It's
it's
closer to
annoying or
this than
anything, but
Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
it is higher, even higher than this. Like this is a middle
Yeah.
ground between the two voices. So I mean, that's a talent. She's great.
Yeah, 100%. She sings it with care and ease, and the fact that we have, the fact that we just the fact that we have so many different shades and sizes of people in here. I feel like
Mhm.
it's a trope to say, because I know in that my cynical mind that yes, nowadays you have to have this hue and this hue and this hue of person. You need to have this size and this size and this size of person.
Mhm.
But the reason I think it worked in here, the reason that Luisa being more heavy set, the reason, Antonio being darker, the reason that these things didn't feel trivial to me or tokenized was because it all made sense, like in their character. Like
Yeah.
Antonio's father, the Tío that's with Pepe, who joined the family, is Afro Latino. He is dark skinned.
Mhm.
But for whatever reason, I don't know if it's the acting or the personalization they did, but at no point am I feeling like, okay, we just put a dark guy in here. I'm like,
Mhm.
no, he's dark. That's what he is. It felt, I don't know if it's, you know what it is, and maybe this is racist even in my own mind. Maybe this is something I gotta contend with. He seemed like people back home from me. Like I think people's hue affects who they are. Like I
mean,
think
yes, it does.
I think the way he is, the big braggadocious way he is, being black man with that size body, the way he carries himself with jolliness but strength, reminds me of people from my neighborhood.
Mhm.
So it doesn't feel like tokenized. It doesn't feel like it put on. And
Yeah.
that's true for all the different shapes and sizes of everyone in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, just look at us. Like we are both Puerto Rican and two very different colors.
Yeah.
It's just like it runs the gamut of colors. Like you get everybody, and the representation is very evident in this movie.
Yeah. So just to jump around because we can, let's talk about some of the songs. I mean, pick one and we'll talk about it. Like let's talk about some of this music, because a Disney movie musical is not a Disney movie musical without bops, without this music. And this music, dude.
Oh my God, I wanted to
this soundtrack is beating all the records. Like
it really?
everywhere. Yeah, it's viral. It's topping the Billboard 200 charts. It reached. We don't talk about Bruno. Reached number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100.
Oh my God, really? That makes sense. Like
It's higher than Let It Go was.
That song's been going crazy on TikTok too.
Yeah,
which is really awesome
because it's so good. Let's
It
talk
is
about it.
really good. It is
Talk to me
really
about We
good.
Don't Talk About Bruno. Don't talk about it. Talk about Bruno.
Oh man, I was gonna talk about the drip drip drip. What's that song? Luisa
Okay, we'll do that.
Pressure.
Pressure.
Okay, let's
Yeah.
do that one first, and then we'll go back to Bruno.
Surface Pressure.
But Luisa sings a song called
Oh,
Surface
I love
Pressure,
Luisa.
which I think is more in line with what we were just talking about too. That's why I kind of want to transition to
Yeah.
this one. But the fact that like the way this movie is set up to have the abuela be at the top, right? And it's like she feel like we mentioned earlier, she has like did all this work. I have all these expectations, all this pressure that I'm putting on the next generations because I survived this trauma, like you said.
Yeah.
And so because of that, I'm putting all this weight. It's such a genius idea to have it stem from her and kind of trickle down to the other generations, because that's true. It's this thing that sort of feeds into itself. It's like they're putting pressure on you. You feel the pressure, you need to succeed. So you push yourself to succeed. They feel like it's justified. So they keep putting the pressure on. And it just like is a cycle that sucks. And you see that in this song. And this is the song that I feel like I related to the most, where you just have all this pressure to do better, to succeed, you know? And like, yeah, that comes from other stuff too in my life, but mainly it comes from the fact that like your previous generations weren't successful in life necessarily. And so you want to do good by them. You want to like make sure that you are putting in the effort. And it feels stupid to say, but sometimes I feel like I need to have earned my place in America.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Which is
100%.
stupid.
That's
and
what
I know
happens
it's
when you're
not
first generations, college bound, and
Yeah.
there's something you got to prove.
the first to go to college, the first to like do all this stuff. It's a lot of pressure and it's a lot of weight. And it's like if you granted, you know, if I fail, the world's not gonna end. Nothing bad's gonna necessarily happen, but you still feel like you just have something to prove, and it's for no reason other than existing. I exist in a place that like my grandmother wasn't born in, and so I feel like this pressure that I need to like prove myself to other people.
Yeah, and I think I just agree with you so much. I think that the character of Luisa is just it's funny because I used to act a lot for different health classes and rehab things. You've heard me talk about it a 1,000,000
Mhm.
times, but one of the things that we did a lot was an alcoholic family. And we did an alcoholic family because the whole point is if you get help, you also need help for your family, because if you go back in an environment that's toxic, you will just backslide.
Yeah.
But the thing that happens in those families is something that happens with families with trauma, not necessarily alcoholism.
Mm-hmm.
And some of those things are the codependent,
Mm-hmm.
Luisa, doing everything she can to make sure everything stays afloat. The golden child, the person that thinks they have to be perfect,
Yeah.
Isabella.
Yeah.
The scapegoat, the one everyone blames for everything going wrong,
Mm-hmm.
Mirabel. They are literally, there's the class clown, which is Camilo, always making jokes.
Yep.
And then there's the last one is the invisible child that no one has to, that keeps to themselves and make sure no one has to ever talk to them or deal with
Mhm.
them. And this Dolores. This is literally like, this is pitch perfect of what had happened in a family with trauma. And
Yeah.
Luis's character, the codependent, that pressure is something that, you know, so many people deal with, about having to, you know,
True.
be perfect. I'm the strong one. I'm not nervous. I'm as steady as the earth is, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, I feel that all the time, you know, and
Mhm.
I know you do too. You know,
Yeah.
the amount of times that, you know, we've cried to each other about things that have hurt us, I can count on one hand, because,
Mhm.
you know, I know you relate to this too. When you go back to your family, to your brother, to your significant other, you're the bedrock. You're the one. I know you are. You
Mhm.
know, you're
Yeah.
one of that in my life. You know, I hope I'm that in your life as well.
Mhm.
But it's that thing of you feeling like if something goes wrong and I'm not able to be steadfast for them, that everything will fall apart. So I need to be that rock. But that means you're not allowed yourself to feel. That
Yep.
means you're not allowed to give yourself a break. That
Yep.
means you're not allowed to breathe. And then eventually it ends up to the points where we like crack a little and we're like,
Yeah. And then you fall under the pressure of everything.
yeah. And then do we learn from our lesson? No, we go right
Now
back
you
at
go
it and we
back.
be that rock again.
Or
you're
you
Puerto
get
Rican,
therapy.
damn it.
Or you get therapy and it
Or
helps
we
a
get
lot.
therapy. Yeah, we both had therapy and it's helped a lot.
I'm just
But
I'm
I know
doing
we're both that
therapy
same
again.
way.
It's great. Love it.
Yeah, but yeah, I love that song.
No,
The
it's
only
great.
thing that
It's my
threw me
favorite
about
one.
the song, because this is the first this is the first song where they do that, the thing that like Maui does in Moana, where while they're singing, it's like magic. Like now we're on the Titanic, and now we're like
That's fine.
dancing
I'm
with
okay with that.
donkeys. I wasn't the first time. I thought it was
Okay.
jarring. I thought it was jarring because they threw it happened in this song. It didn't happen before that.
Hmm.
And then it happened in every other song. And then I got used to it. But I
Okay.
didn't like this song as much the first time I listened to it because that was so jarring.
I get
And I was
that.
like, what is this?
I
And then the second time when I was ready for it, I enjoyed it. I was like, this is fun. This is
Yeah.
magical. This is great.
I ended up watching this movie twice, and both times I almost cried during the song. I think every time I listen to it, I'm almost cry. It's just very relatable for me.
It's a really good song.
Yeah, and also, I mean, just like the representation of buff babes, like let's go. Let's fucking
Yeah.
go. Let's bring it up. Because I feel like they don't
100%.
she's tall, she's hot, she's buff, she's of
Yeah.
legal age, I think. It's great. She's 19. I just
So
looked it up.
we're gonna move on to other songs. Let's talk about We Don't Talk About Bruno. Fun fact: his name was originally Oscar, but then Lin-Manuel had the idea for the song, so they changed his name to Bruno.
We don't talk about Oscar.
Oscar,
No.
no,
Doesn't work.
doesn't
Not
quite
work.
work. Doesn't quite work. And I'm sure you've seen the videos, but they had a whole team of Latin dancers choreograph this song independently of the animators and the musicians. Like they gave
Oh,
them the
really?
finished songs. They choreographed the whole thing, gave it back to the animators, and the animators used almost all of it. You can watch a side by side of
Oh,
them
wow.
choreographing it with real people and the animation, and like every little like
Mhm.
is like in the animation. It's like really cool.
That's
you know?
amazing.
Yeah, it's really awesome. And that whole song it does the counterpoint thing where it's the same do 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 like
That's really good.
beneath the thing, like pa pa pa, while everyone sings it differently,
Mhm.
and then it all layers on top. It's my favorite thing you can do in a musical, and they do it here beautifully.
I like that
remember
a
sitting
lot.
there like, oh, this is a weird song when it started,
Yeah.
and then I was like, wait a second. And then someone else take a verse, I'm like, ooh. And then someone else take a boost, I'd be like, ooh. Then you take the last break, I'm like, we don't talk about
It's a
no.
catchy
it was
song. Such a
Ugh.
banger. I feel like a criticism that people give Lin-Manuel Miranda is that a lot of his songs sound similar, but I feel like it is true. Like there are some songs in here that are like, okay, that sounds like another song that you've done, or that sounds like in your style. As an artist, you can only create so much that's different while
Yeah.
remaining true to yourself. But we don't talk
Dude,
about Bruno.
Elton
It's
John did
great.
a whole bunch of Disney things. They all sound the same. Alan Menken, one of the best composers in the fucking world, did Little
Mhm.
Mermaid and Little Shop and shit.
Yeah.
He uses themes. They all sound the same. They sound like Disney movies. Like they made Disney. That's what it all sounds the same, right?
Yeah. But I like it.
Yeah, what?
We don't talk
Because
about
his
Bruno,
has
it's
like
catchy as fuck.
Latin themes that keep coming up and up again. He's a fucking use the same racist. People that say that are racist.
Okay, I won't
They
go
have
that
no
far.
problem when white
I
people do
won't
it.
go
No,
that
I will.
far.
No, now you got me in my house. Everybody that thinks Lin-Manuel
I won't go that far.
reuses stuff is racist. Because white people reuse stuff all the time, but because it doesn't have Latin twang to it, they have a problem with it. Racist.
Okay, sure.
Fight me.
But that song is great. It's choreographed really well. Especially, I mean, there's no reason not to do that, right? Like nowadays, you can map like the animation to a dancer and then have it just follow the dance movements and do it exactly. So that's great. Like it's easy to do.
Yeah.
Just fucking do it.
Yeah, what do you think's going on through the mind of like these creators as they're like trying to map out these songs to like the story they've written?
This feels like a transition to a game, and I hate you.
Well,
what's going
you're
on
about
through
to
the
find
mind?
out because we're gonna do it ourselves. Roll the clip.
Now try this trivia. Now try this trivia. Now trivia. Now trivia. Now trivia this.
And we are back.
Marcus, there's only one thing that I know collectively we love more than Disney. And it's kind of a cop-out because it's Marvel. We talked about it last week.
Uh-huh.
What's the best thing about Marvel? The cinematic universe. What if, now that we've gotten some Disney superheroes here, what if we had a Disney shared universe? What would that look like? How would that movie look? How would that movie sound? Marcus, you and I right now, we're going to write a treatment for the Disney shared universe film, Disney Unlimited. Working title pending.
So like Kingdom Hearts?
100%.
Okay, got it.
But only with Disney,
But only
not
with
with
Disney.
Final Fantasy. Yes.
Well, okay, that's racist against Final Fantasy characters.
It's not. So, You and I are going to make a pitch right now. We're going to send it to Disney. We're going to try to get made and get that money, get that guac.
Sure.
How are we going to share these princesses and these superheroes and these people with all these powers and share them in a universe? What are we going to do to justify it? How are we going to do it? Are we going to do multiverse of madness? Are we just going to assume they've always been in the same universe, Marcus?
Sure.
These are the questions you are answering. Start off by making me this movie.
Just now.
How would you
just
like
tell
this movie to start?
Okay.
Yeah.
So because a lot of Disney movies are
Yeah.
based on like stories from different countries and like kind of take place in those countries, there's no reason that they can't just all be set in the current in a version of Earth that allows for play with time and space. Right?
I think time is the only thing that you really have to play with, right? 'Cause
Time is really
Encanto
yeah.
seems like it takes place around the turn of the century into 1900s, while like actually they all kinda
Aladdin
seem like they're around that
doesn't
time.
take place there. Yeah. Mulan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Different time, yeah.
So okay, we're gonna do like the classic when you have different heroes coming in from different universes.
That's what we're doing.
An otherworldly being needs a future situation solved, and so he's
Ooh.
going throughout time
What's his name?
and space. Gibble.
Gibble.
And he's going throughout time and space to find these heroes so that way he can save
So
the
he's
future.
so we're gonna do this movie a la we start with Gibble.
Oh, the
in this
tagline.
calamity.
Reach into the past to save the future.
Oh, okay, remember that, right? Reach into the past to save the future, okay?
Yeah.
Here's, guys, and Marcus, I didn't tell you, we're also going to make the music for this film.
God damn it.
So the beginning of this film, we open up black screen. In a black void, we have a little light being that's cute, that's called Gibble. And Gibble has the power to transcend space and time, and he has to reach into the past to save the future. Marcus, pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Hold on
Pick
one
one of the 8 songs by title you think would fit this the best. Start me off with Gibble starting this film. What song does he sing to start off our Disney Unlimited film with his song Reach into the Past?
Okay. I'm picking this song called since guys, just FY, it's gonna take me a minute to set these up. So
he's also never heard these before.
And I've never heard these before. So you're singing
one are you
this
picking?
one, right? Create.
Oh, no, I was making you sing
Yesterday.
it.
I'm singing.
Okay, I'll
it?
sing this one. I'll sing this
Okay,
one. I'll sing this
okay.
one.
I'm hitting yesterday.
Well, no,
okay?
if you're playing it, you're singing it because I have to play it if I'm singing.
Okay, you play it then.
Okay, I'll sing this. A Gibble,
I'm
right?
let me find Gibble. Let me find a picture of Gibble.
What? Okay. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I can hear it.
Okay. Ooh. Oh.
Oh, nice.
I look to the past to find what I need, to find out what I'm gonna be. Is it gonna go according to my plan? But there are people from the past who I'm their biggest fan. If I take from you all the power you have, can you come to me and shape this world I have? Reach into the past to save the future. I can travel in time with just one single word. Gibble, 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 gibble. Reach into the past. Gibble, 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 gibble. Look at my slash. Gibble, 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 gibble. I am the best. Gibble, 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 gibble. Gonna save the rest. Gibble, 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 gibble. Save the past. Gibble, 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 giggle. The future won't last. Gibble, 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 gibble.
Man.
I'm the best. Gibble, gibble, gibble. I'll save the rest.
Yeah.
That's the opening. That's our opening song for Disney Unlimited. Our creature Gibble is traveling out. But Marcus,
I found the creature.
Where does
it's
he
on
go?
the screen for
Where I see it. It's
people at
beautiful.
home.
That's Gibble. Where does Gibble go first? Who does he pluck from our Disney chronology to start to join his team of
I gotta look up
Avengers.
Disney characters now. Okay.
No, you can just pick ones you know.
mean,
Pick your favorites.
I think he's gonna grab Aladdin.
You're gonna
first.
start with someone without powers? Cool.
Aladdin is a master thief. Oh, excuse me, mister. I love heist films. What is this if not a heist?
I'm just surprised you picked the one that's closest to Hawkeye on our potential list of who you would join.
You need the heart. You need the corazon. Okay.
Uh-huh. Okay.
That's
Well, how does that
Aladdin.
happen? Gibble shows up in where the fuck is Aladdin? Arabia?
Agrabah?
Like Agrabah. I was like, Arabia's it's Agrabah. Gibble shows up in Agrabah. Aladdin is actively. Is this pre-Jasmine or post-Jasmine?
This
Or
is
during Jasmine?
I would say post Jasmine. Like he's sitting around.
So
the
he's a prince.
castle. He's a prince.
Okay, so he's Prince. He's not doing shit. He's
Yeah, he's
hanging out.
bored.
He's forgot. Oh, when Gibble shows up, he's forgotten his humanity. He's been a prince
Wow.
for too long. He's like shackled by the privilege he now faces, which means Gibble, when he tries to talk to him into it, Aladdin at first says no, but during the course of his song, realizes that the error of his ways and he needs to join Gibble on this adventure. Marcus, you are going to be singing Aladdin's song with the tune of For Me on your list.
Okay.
And this is Aladdin contemplating whether he should go with Gibble to join this adventure. As Gibble walks in, or floats in, or slides in, you picked a very weird creature. I love it. Aladdin is there, sitting on the throne, eating some grapes. The genie is hanging out. He doesn't remember what it's like to hang out with people. Maybe he takes a verse.
Okay. I got it. Yeah. Oh, there's lyrics to this one.
Oh, are there? Skip this one. Skip this one. Shit. I thought I checked them all. Don't do that one.
Okay, hold on.
Don't do that one.
I'm gonna lower. There you go.
Pick another one. Tell me which one you pick.
Okay. I guess I'll pick simple
I swore I
piano
checked them.
melody, or
Okay,
both of us.
perfect.
I'll pick both of us.
Okay, both of us.
Okay.
I swear to God, I checked them. I'm so upset.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it.
You were vibing.
I was vibing, and then it was like lyrics. Okay, both of us. Let's go. Boom.
Boom.
Oh, okay. I'm just sitting here, the Prince of Agrabah. I've got my beautiful wife and my carpet. Nothing to do. I'm so bored. What wouldn't I give for an adventure? I let Genie go free, and I'm alone, can't you see? If only someone would help me find an adventure. And then Gibble comes in, and Gibble's like, come with me, I have an urgent task for you. Say no more, my friend. I will be with you until the end. I'll join you to fight whenever fight needs fighting. Beautiful.
Yes! Nice! And Aladdin joins the
joins
team
the
with
group.
Gibble. But then they are sucked against their will. Gibble doesn't have full control of his powers yet. He pulls Aladdin and Gibble onto the next place, onto the next time to grab their next person. And they catch their person in a very precarious situation. Who's that person?
Oh, precarious situation?
Yeah, I don't know. It seems like narratively that's how I would write the story. I don't know. But who? Who is it
They
gonna be?
go to hold on. Wait 1 second. Hold on 1 second.
You know
Is it Disney and
people.
Pixar?
No,
I don't know which one. I don't know which one.
It's
They find
Disney.
Moana.
that one's Disney.
Great.
Great, you did it great. What's the precarious situation?
She is in the middle of
Watch it. It's Disney.
dinner with
Why is this
her She's in the middle of
a
why is this
peacetime
a
dinner with
peacetime
other
dinner.
tribes
Yeah. let's do
negotiating
that.
a unity of
Mhm.
islands in Hawaii?
Mhm.
She is doing the thing that joins all of Hawaii in that moment
Yes.
under one sovereign
Yep.
nation.
That sounds good. Yep.
Whoa, that's intense. What
Yeah.
happened?
Well, I don't know. We have to sing a song and find out what happened, right? Or it's interrupted. She disappears in the middle of it because she's stressed out. She goes into a back room, and in
Oh,
the
so
back
she's
room
pissed.
is Gibble.
So she's pissed.
Mm-hmm.
She's been working for months and months and months to organize this meeting.
Yeah.
What is she singing about, Marcus?
Oh, I have to sing it? I thought you were singing it this time.
I can. Which one?
We're
do you want me to
taking
sing?
turns. Let's do Home acoustic.
You mean Far From?
Far From Home acoustic or
Okay.
whatever.
Oh.
Oh.
You pulled me away after months of work. Do you have any idea the burden I carry for my people? What I have to do? I haven't been on the ocean for years. I miss the ocean. Its sweet breeze taking my hair. Oh, yes, please. I miss the ocean, my sweet old friend. Once I became queen, it turned to the end. Oh, Gibble and Aladdin, you need me now more than I know. Oh, Gibble and Aladdin, you have my ocean by your side. I remember the time I used to adventure, but long ago I lost my way. But you tell me we need to save the future. I'll just say it's time to me for to go to the bay. Take my boats and take my spear, because this adventure I do not fear. We'll save the future for years to come, and I promise on the way we'll have some fun. That's Moana's big number as she joins our Avengers Disney team.
I love it. This is great. This is looking stacked.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing about our pitch.
Yeah.
We're only doing the intro. 2 more people are going to join, and then they got to call us if they want the end of the story.
That's true. That's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair.
So after Moana decides to join Gibble and Aladdin, God damn it, join Gibble and Aladdin on this adventure, who next do they find to join their convoy of Disney people?
I'm having a hard time coming up with Disney characters.
There's literally 60 of them.
See, I could which ones I like. I want to pick Mrs. Incredible because she's thick. Like that's what I want to pick.
That's Pixar.
Exactly. Okay, so I'm gonna go with Elsa because she actually has powers.
Yeah, that's probably the right call.
Yeah, yeah. Let's go with Elsa.
Elsa has powers. How does that go when she shows up?
So Gibble comes and is talking to Aladdin and Moana. He's like, "You guys are very talented, and I'm so grateful for your assistance. But we need more. We need someone with actual powers who could actually maybe like stand
Moana's
up."
got powers. She's got like
yeah.
ocean
What's her
powers.
power?
It's control the. She's friends with the ocean.
She's friends with the ocean. So yeah. Okay, so we need more. You know, like we need a particular set of skills. Ice-based skills.
Okay. So what happens?
So then Gibble goes to find Elsa, and unfortunately, she's busy.
We need an action set piece at this point in the film.
Oh, we do?
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds good.
It must be a blizzard or something.
There's a blizzard. Okay, there's a blizzard that the group has to get through in order to get to Elsa.
Yeah, but why is there a blizzard? Something happened. Oh my God, is Anna okay? Is Anna dead?
She has COVID.
Anna has COVID. Anna is on her deathbed. We won't say the C word
on her
anymore,
deathbed.
but Anna is on her deathbed. And Elsa is distraught. There's a huge blizzard as Moana, Aladdin, and Gibble. This is a fucking dope ass movie. As Aladdin, Moana, and Gibble are climbing the mountain, fighting these snow monsters. Aladdin is doing his loop-de-loops, and Moana has a spear and is trying to control the ocean. But there ain't no ocean here. They're on a mountain. But they finally get to Elsa, distraught over her bedridden sister. What does she say?
Damn it. She's like, I have to go. I know you will be better. And me being around you is only causing you to get sicker. So I have to leave. I have to go help the future.
Oh, and it's this point that Gibble reveals that the unstableness of the future is why this is happening to their worlds. Things that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah. That's what it's.
Right?
The worlds are cracking and being
cracking.
destroyed, and people are getting weaker. And so Anna is also getting sick because of the world fissures. We got this. We got it. Which one haven't we done?
What is
Cinematic dramatic?
Yeah, that's right. Let's do that one.
Okay.
That one's all you, and this is Elsa singing her final words to Aina before she has to go and save the future with Gibble, Aladdin, and Moana.
Pains me to leave you. I don't want to say goodbye. It hurts my heart to watch you cry. I must leave now, for the future needs me, and I know that you want to be here beside me. Oh, Anna, I must go for both of us and our futures. I'm so sorry, sister, but I love you so. Goodbye for now. I must go to the future with Gibble. Let it go.
Nice.
Thank you.
Now we're realizing the worlds are colliding, Gibble reveals something. Gibble says, I'm sorry. I lied. I didn't randomly choose you. I needed to just pick you all for specific reasons for our tasks.
Oh my
and
God.
Unfortunately, the last person I have to choose to join us
Oh, thank God you're giving it to me, Gibble.
is not a hero.
What?
It's someone even call a villain.
Oh my God.
Marcus, what villain is it?
Oh God, I want Jafar so badly, but we already did that world.
Yeah,
okay,
that's fair.
we're going
Jafar
to
would have
grab...
been fucking great.
Jafar would have been fucking awesome.
Sorry, I didn't know this turn was happening.
No, it's okay. No, it's good. Get Hades. Let's grab Hades.
Hades from Hercules?
Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Okay.
I love Hades. Come on, man.
Hades, how you doing? Well, I'm looking at a list of Disney films. There was some trash in the 2000s. I mean, some people revere these films, but they did not do well. Like
What
we have
trash
after
you talking about?
Tarzan was Dinosaur, Atlantis, Treasure
Yep.
Planet, Brother
Yep.
Bear, Home on the
Oh,
Range,
yeah,
Chicken
yeah.
Little, Meet the Robinsons, Bolt.
Oh, yeah.
Who gave
Bolt,
a
I
shit
felt like
about Bolt?
Bolt was pretty good, wasn't it?
I didn't watch it.
Oh.
Want to hear something
remember it
crazy?
not being as bad as I thought it
Byron
was.
Howard co-directed Encanto. He also co-directed Zootopia.
Oh.
He also co-directed Tangled. He also co-directed Bolt.
Bolt wasn't that bad from what I remember.
Oh, sure.
Okay, we got Hades.
Wow. Hades.
Mhm.
I hate to break it to you, bro. I can't sing Hades. You have to.
I have to sing it.
You have to. You have to do Hades. I'm so sorry.
It's so much.
I
Okay.
couldn't do it justice.
Okay.
So as they show up, Hades has just been finally pulled out of that river after
Mhm.
Hercules threw him in there. He is pissed. And he is almost agoraphobic. He doesn't even want to leave. He's so pissed about everything. What happens is he shows up and Gibble's like, we need you to save the world.
Is that okay? After he says we need you to save the world, he's like, why would I do that? I have absolutely no reason to help.
And
you,
Aladdin
Gibble."
says, what do you mean? We have to save it. People are in danger. Your world's in danger.
And then as he says that, there starts to like fissures in
The house.
Hades' home.
Hades, yeah.
Like
Hades
starts-
named it Hades after himself. That's very conceited.
No, it's not. What's Hades is called?
called-
He's in hell.
It's
Isn't
Hades. It's Hades. Hades lives in Hades.
he? Hades is the
Hades
place-
lives in
maybe okay.
Hades.
So anyway, his home starts to break, and then his favorite vase cracks because of the fissures, and he gets really angry, and then he decides to join them and to stop this from happening because it's affecting him personally.
His favorite vase.
His favorite vase. Yeah, because
Okay.
they had all those like ornate vases, and they had like the muses singing on the
They
like,
sung about it.
you know.
Okay. Well, I'm really curious to see how this song goes because I assume it'll be a little funny because his reason for joining them to save the world is a vase.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Well, let's see it. Let's hear
Let's see. Let's hear
Tri-
it. What song do I pick?
it. A triumphant sounds correct.
Triumphant. Okay. Let's see. Oh, that does sound triumphant. This is a pretty triumphant song.
Good.
You're welcome for my presence. I am blessing you with all my powers. Your terrible team will fail if it wasn't for me, the best. For I am Hades, a god, and you are but pests. Now I will go into the future. Forward forever. Yay!
Guys, it'll sound a lot better with drums, I promise.
It will sound a lot better overall if we wrote it down.
Now, here's the thing, Disney. 2 more people join before we even get to the big bad. But if you want to find out who it is, you need to join our Patreon at patreon.com/nowtrythiscast and join the Patreon to decide how the rest of this story is going to go. Marcus?
Also, guys, there's other good stuff there. There's other good stuff there too on the Patreon.
No, not really, just this. Marcus, I was keeping track of your points that whole game. You got 10 out of 10. Congratulations. You crushed that game.
Thank you so
did
much. Thank you. I really appreciate it.
You are the Disney boy.
God, I hate that I can see the numbers for the podcast. It's just me.
Well, as you can see them going down more and more as you're saying more and more.
Gave me so much anxiety during that whole game.
Marcus, you did fantastic. Great job. But now we get to go back to talking about Encanto.
Yes, we do. Oh man, I feel like we hit on a lot of good points that I think people have been talking about a little bit, but a lot of reviews haven't necessarily been talking about.
A lot of the reviews, I love reviews, but a lot of reviews like, wow, it's so colorful, it's so nice, it's so happy, it's so cool. And I'm like, those are all true, but like
for sure,
some people I've seen have been like generational trauma, Colombian Civil War, and I'm like, yes.
TikTok people have been talking about the individual important parts of this, but on the whole, I feel like official reviewers haven't necessarily been talking about it as much.
I think
some
it's because
do here and there, but
I think it's because it's a Disney animated film. I think some people, it's one of those things where almost like Luisa's song Pressure underneath the surface. This movie, I think, is one of the reasons why it stands so well is it could stand on its own just as a fun Disney romp. If you weren't attuned to the non-nuclear family or to the plight of the Hispanic and immigration, to all the generational trauma, this movie just plays. It just plays well. It's just fun. Yeah. I mean, that moment when Antonio gets his powers and you go to his room, it's a beautiful sequence and it's fun and it's jovial. And then when Maribel sings her song about not having powers and she's waiting for a miracle, that just hits. That feels like part of your world. That's her part of your world song. That's the... See that lie, da 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 da. It calls me. I forget the name of that song.
Yeah.
Also Lin-Manuel Miranda. But it is that song. It's that. What's the name of this? It's called in musical theater. That's called a want song. The want song is usually done near the top of the show. So musical structure is very, very blatant. It's there. It starts with an opening number. When you've seen my shows, my improv shows, that's the reason we do it this way. There's an opening number.
Yeah.
There's a want song, which is that. There's usually then a villain song. There's a character song, which is just like people out in the world. Then there's the moment of doubt song, and then it resolves at the end. And that's a structure that most musicals follow in some shape or form, and almost all Disney movies follow it in some kind of way. Yeah. And this one is not alone. It does that. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
because there's all these things under the surface about it.
Yeah, it's great. I think that it has great musicality to it, and then the story is great. The colors are great. The characters are great. The choreography is great. It's just every piece of it is well thought out and there's thought behind it,
down to the fact that each part of the family has a color scheme, right?
Yeah.
Maribel and her side are blue, Peppa and that side are yellow.
Yeah.
Bruno's green. They're using color here. It's fucking beautiful and great.
Yeah. It's hard too because I feel like a lot of effort and passion was put into this movie, but a lot of Disney movies that have come out in the past few years don't always have this level of detail and passion.
Listen, I love Moana. I think Frozen is unironically a bop.
I agree.
But those movies don't feel like this. I feel like we haven't had a movie like this for years.
Yeah.
There are some that get like even Zootopia, right? Which I think is one of those films that also deals with xenophobia, and it's dealing with something. There's so many of the moments of that movie are just fun, silly kid moments, right?
Yeah.
And Tangled, I think, was the beginning of this newest renaissance, and it's a really good film, right? It has a beginning, middle, and an end.
Yeah.
But I feel like we haven't gotten this kind of film that does these kinds of things since Mulan, Lion King,
that generation.
Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Those movies, the way they hit their stories are so iconic and deep and fucking
mature.
transcendent.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, let's just talk
Yeah.
about like how a lot of the
Not
Disney
both.
movies kind of have become more childish as we've gotten older, which is fine because they're for kids now, but like it's I don't know if it's the censorship or people deciding what they think kids can handle, but like
I
we
think it's the
fucking
second
watched
thing,
The
yeah.
Lion King. Mufasa
Straight up dies.
dies.
Dude just dies.
He
Straight up
falls
dies.
off a goddamn cliff and he fucking dies. That hurt me as a child. And it was important to see because it felt like, oh, like they're not looking down on me. It's a thing when you talk to kids, you talk to them like they're adults. Like it felt like that. It was like, oh, cool. I'm getting to experience this mature thing as a kid and have to kind of come to terms with it, which is important too.
Yeah, I think it's super funny because as you're saying that, I'm looking at this list of movies. You're not incorrect. I'm agreeing with you,
Okay,
but
yeah.
it's like even deeper than what you're saying. I think because as I'm looking at this list, Frozen, the parents die in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You know, Raya and the Last Dragon, a whole group of people go like extinct, like in that movie. Like these things are happening, but then the movie has no desire to
Deal with it.
invest
Or
in that.
yes.
Because then it's like a fun romp, and then we fix the problems, you know?
Yeah, I think Frozen was. I like Frozen a lot. I
Close.
think it was like
I think Frozen
it's
is
probably
close.
the closest of the recent ones, other
Yeah.
than Encanto.
I
Like,
agree. I think
yeah.
there was this post where if it wanted to have more fun
Yeah.
than dealing with the
yeah,
stuff.
I mean Soul too. I know that's like Disney Pixar or whatever, I guess, but like
Which one?
Soul,
Oh, I didn't watch Soul.
he dies in it, and it's like okay,
Yeah, sure.
like I don't care, no one cares, like whatever.
Yeah.
That one was a big disappointment for me. I felt like
Everyone loved it.
It could have gone a lot harder, and I just didn't like it.
I feel like that's usually you know what? I'm really glad you said it in that way. I feel like a lot of these films are good. They do good things. They have good themes, but they just don't go hard.
Yeah.
Where I think this movie, it didn't. Dude, can we just say like the fact that it's dealing with all these things, it has this bait and switch with Bruno. You meet Bruno, it's funny, and then you find out he was
living in
fact
the walls.
that he was hiding in the wall next to the family dinner, and he drew his plate on the thing. And what's heartbreaking is all the fan art I've seen where right outside that little thing where he's drawn his plate is where they sing the whole "We Don't Talk About Bruno" song, and he's just sitting there like eating his arepa, and I'm just like,
God.
And it doesn't it's there. It is there. It's talked about.
Yeah.
They have Mirabelle go look at it, have the realization on her face, and look at him, and he realized that when Bruno says, it's one of my favorite lines, is when Bruno says, I think you should go. I don't have a good reason for you to go, but if you did go, you would say, but if I did, you would say that's a good reason. And that's like anxiety that he just said. Like, I know you felt that too sometimes where you're like, I don't know what to say right now, but I am so uncomfortable and so upset. I don't have the words to portray that to you, but I need you to just trust me that I am not good enough for this moment.
Yeah.
And he says that.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. I think this movie has so many layers to it that aren't necessarily present in a lot of other movies, which is wonderful. And I think that like a lot of Disney movies need to have these layers, and people want these layers. They want to peel them apart. They want to peel them back and dive into the like meaty chunks of the film and find all the little secrets and all the little details that were put into it because the creators were passionate about this.
Yeah, there's so many little things that people have been noticing behind the scenes. Like during the "We Don't Talk About Bruno" song, Bruno is in the back like bopping to the song, you know, and it's like there's all these little moments of like care and detail, and that's why I love animated films that take years to make, because everything's a choice. There's no moment in this film where it's like, oh, an actor just happened to turn his hand over here and it kind of fit the characterization. Did he mean to? I don't know. In an animated movie, everything's intentional.
Yep, that's very true.
Dolores plugs her ears when there's loud noises throughout the whole film. When she's clapping, when Antonio gets his powers, she claps like this. There is so much care and painstaking detail that it's just more and more you watch it, it's just so beautiful.
Okay, shout out to 2 new followers, FLCL Crim 2
Fooly
and Fooly Cooley. Yes, I didn't want to assume it was Fooly Cooley.
he's following us. He's a weeb.
And Erica Cool draws.
It's America. Oh,
Yes, Encanto is amazing.
loved it.
I fucking love it. But you're right. There's a huge amount of details that I feel like that Disney, being a big corporation, takes advantage. When you have all this money to make whatever the fuck you want and throw money at a problem and be like, make films, and just crank them all out. It's sometimes I feel like you lose the passion behind it. And
Yeah,
when you can make
it's a big problem we have with Marvel, right?
Yeah, but
It's
with
just so much.
with this being a Hispanic driven movie with Hispanic cast, Hispanic actors, Hispanic like creators behind it, they have something to prove. Like, not to be fucked up about this, but like, if they fuck up, they might not get another chance, because that's how
it happens.
Like capitalism works and how like society is driven. It's driven by the dollar. So if this,
and I feel like we're full of those moments right now, right? With like them doing Captain Marvel and Shang-Chi and like that Mulan movie live action not being success is like a huge hit to the Asian American audience and in the Disney arm. You know, all these things are very true. Raya and the Last Dragon not doing great is like, you know, did we lose our shot? It's fucking wild. It happens all the time.
If this movie failed, the message to Disney wouldn't be like, oh, okay, maybe it failed because like this and that, or like maybe the writing team didn't really get it together in time or whatever. The message would be like, don't make more Hispanic movies.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
And here's the thing. I also don't want the wrong lesson to be taken. I don't need a string of 16 Hispanic animated movies now, because they wouldn't be as much in quality. I'm okay waiting 10 years for a Disney animated movie for about another Hispanic culture.
That's
I'm okay with that
problem.
if it's done. Yeah, because if it's too good, then you just get a whole bunch of shitty shits, right? Now, here's my point, though. What I am going to say, we do need more Black Disney films. That's a problem.
That is a huge problem.
That's a problem because I love that this movie's about Colombia, and that's great. I love it that we have Polynesian princess and we go there. We have Blacks here in this country, and we haven't told these stories right here at all.
Yeah, there's a lot of stories that Disney is just missing, and it's like, okay, like can we start telling some of those stories?
Inside Out, that family could have just been Black.
Oh, 100%.
Toy Story, Andy could have been from fucking Trinidad. I don't fucking know. He just could have, but they're always white. That's the problem. That's when we get there. But we're getting closer. We're getting closer and closer all the time. There is a song we didn't talk about at all, which is "What Else Can I Do?" Dan Guerrero from Orange Is the New Black voices that character. That's the perfect sister, realizing she doesn't need to be perfect anymore. And I thought when this came on, I was like, honestly, I was so confused about why Isabella wasn't anybody and doing anything. And she was just like, they're really just going to let her like be this perfect thing. And then we got this whole song. And I love when she saw her in her vision and she's like, oh, it's an embrace. You have to embrace someone. You have to embrace it. She's like, who? Isabella.
Yeah, that was very funny.
And she was so pissed. And then but you got this whole song about how that perfect persona she had to put on is so put on. She was about to marry this dude because it's what she was supposed to do. And again, this is something you see in not just Hispanic families. You see it in all families all the time. But I only know it from my own purview. And I know that these like family connections kind of thing. Like in my hometown, it's a Polish town, and 4 Hispanic families came in the 60s from Puerto Rico, all from Ayuya, and they kind of like formed their own little community there. So everyone's related a little bit, but like the connections that are formed, it's like, are the Vegas and the Echeverias gonna join up and like this marriage thing has to happen? And I've seen it. I've seen this happening now in my neighborhoods, you know? And that pressure of having to be perfect is something that it's like, I know what that's like. You know, I had that need to be perfect. I had straight A's for so much of my adolescence because my family was too busy to do other things that I was like, if I be perfect, then they don't have to worry about me. You know, I can do more for them. And I was never worried about myself. You know, what about you? Did you relate at all to the song?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's the same thing with the Luisa song. Like, it's just all the things we were talking about, all the like typical like children of trauma, the golden child, the one, you know, like all this stuff, the Rock. I feel like I am all of them in one. And it is a great thing. So yeah, the golden child things, like Me too. Like I used to work my ass off, get all A's because I knew I had to get into a college. I knew we didn't have money, so it's not like I was gonna get help or anything. I was gonna go into debt, and I tried to get like as much scholarships as I can and all that stuff, but they don't just give those things away.
Though
And
I
so,
did get $1,000 for being a Hispanic good at math when I went to college.
yeah, that's $1,000 of the $80,000 or like how fucking $40,000, however much college ends up being. Like,
Yeah.
so much money.
Yeah, and I didn't know this. Looking in the chat, Erica says they are making a Tiana series on Disney Plus, probably,
Oh,
which is cool. I like that character. I like that story. I think it
Yeah.
didn't get as much love as it should have. I thought Princess and the Frog was a good series.
Krim says, selfish, wanting all the trauma for myself. I do. It's mine. It's mine, baby.
But that is the way I feel. But Marcus, you've
We've-
let me harp so much on what I've liked and didn't like about this film. Are there things you want to talk about and say?
No, we've talked about all the greatest parts of the movie. We've talked about so much of it. I love it. It's been great. It's been a great fucking movie. And I'm honestly really happy that this exists because I want more from this. You get nervous, like in the chat earlier, they said like with Raya failing, they're worried that there weren't going to be as many like movies of that type going
Yeah.
forward. And it's a scary thing.
That movie
but
was so close to being good, right?
It was so close
see
to being
Raya?
good. I did see
Raya
Raya.
was
It was
Raya had
almost
so
good.
many good stuff. It
It
was
was almost
almost good. It was so
Yeah.
close to being good. There was just something missing. I don't even know what it was. I'd have to rewatch it like really critically. And Old
Yeah.
Man Ram, I did see that short. It was very good, but it was a short. That's the problem.
What is the short?
was
Oh,
a John
John
Henry
Henry.
short.
Oh yeah, that was
Yeah.
good. That was good.
That was good.
But yeah, I don't know. It's Disney needs to be doing more. They have a lot of money. They can figure it out.
It was the
monkeys.
monkey, the thief baby with a monkey. That was great. Like I think Raya was good because it was a MacGuffin that knew it was a MacGuffin, but it was like
Mhm.
that Lord of the Ringsy kind of adventure, so it really worked.
Yeah.
I think there just needed to be, I don't know. I'd have to watch it again critically, but like
Yeah.
there's a reason I don't talk about that film the same way I just talked about Encanto. Maybe it's
Yeah.
music. Maybe it's just because of the music. Maybe
Maybe
it's
it's
just
because
because
of the music. Yeah. I don't remember a single. Did it have
Truly?
songs?
No, they didn't sing.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's why. It
Yeah.
needs to be musical.
It was an action movie. It was an action movie.
Okay. That's
Maybe
fair.
that was it. Maybe I just need music. Maybe I'm a fucking basic ass bitch and I need music in my movies.
No,
to be able
you
to
know,
relate
we
to
grew
them.
up in the '90s with the Disney. Every Disney song, every Disney movie had a
Yeah.
song. You know,
Yeah, anytime a Disney movie doesn't have a song, I'm like, this sucked. Like, no, that's
Yeah.
not true. Lilo and Stitch is my favorite.
there's a song in that, right?
No, there's not, dude.
There's no Ohana Means Family song. Ohana
No.
means family. It's time to get together and let's go to the beach. That's something like that. Lilo and Stitch is amazing though.
Yeah, Lilo and Stitch is my favorite. But no, I'm super excited to see, like you said, what comes next and what's
Mhm.
coming from this. And gosh, I don't know. I keep getting scared every time Lin-Manuel does something. I'm like, this is gonna be it. This is gonna be the one. This is gonna be the one that's gonna like make it all
That's what
fall
I'm
apart.
scared too of, man. Like once that's the problem.
Because in the
too.
Heights, great.
Oh God.
Hamilton, I was like, wow, you beat yourself, but you're not gonna do it. And then I heard he was gonna direct Tick Tick Boom. I was like, this is gonna be good. One of my favorite movies of the year. Then I was like,
Yeah.
well, Encanto's gonna suck. Nope. Just
But
nope.
that's what that's the point too that I was kind of getting at is that like minorities
Yeah.
when they're making content, they get one fail, like they get one shot to fail. And Lin-Manuel
Yeah.
Miranda, the only reason he's still around is because he's knocked everything out of the park every time.
To be fair, that's not true. He did bring it on the musical,
Whatever. He's had chances. He's done
but that
well.
wasn't his thing, right? He was hired to come on as a writer.
Yes,
different.
that's different. That's
Same with
very
Vivo.
different.
He was hired to come in to like
Mhm.
do it. It wasn't
Mhm.
his thing.
Yeah.
God, what's he gonna do next? I don't even fucking know.
I
I'd be
don't
so,
know.
Wouldn't you be
He needs a
so
break.
scared?
He needs a break. He needs like a 5, not even a 5-year, like a 2-3 year break. Just
Just
like
do it.
rest.
Well,
to rest.
remember, In the Heights, he made through all the college. That took 5 years to make. Hamilton, I know because I've been such a fan. He was talking about Hamilton 5 years at least before it came out.
Really?
You know? Oh, yeah. I remember
Mm-hmm.
watching In the Heights interviews, and In the Heights came out in 2008. And he
Mhm.
was talking in interviews about how his next musical was going to be Hamilton.
Okay.
He was doing it that long ago. Yeah, it took them
That's
10 years
crazy.
to make. Yeah,
That's
that's how
crazy.
long those things take to make. So it might be another 5 years before we figure out what it's going to be. But
Okay, Nick. I think that's it. I think that's the podcast.
oh no,
I'm just
can we
enjoying
talk more
talking about it.
Encanto?
I know. I'm just
Do you wanna
enjoying
talk
talking
more
about
Encanto?
Encanto. It's so
My
fucking
God.
good. God,
It's so
TikTok
good. Ugh.
really took
Isn't
Encanto
Antonio so
by
cute?
storm.
Isn't Antonio so cute? That little
Everyone's
cousin.
cute.
Oh my
Yes.
god.
It's
Oh,
great.
and oh my god, Marcus, Maribel lives in the nursery still. She still lives in the
That is
nursery
cute.
because she doesn't have a
That is
power.
very cute.
And that's why she's connected so much with all
Man,
her
it's
with
fucked up
Antonio.
that they just
It's
all
fucked up.
have to like contribute to society, and if you don't contribute to
Oh.
society, then you don't get to be a part of the
Yeah.
conversation. You don't get to be a part
Oh,
of
yeah.
a real part of the family. Oh,
Yeah.
your value is
Abuela has a
only from what
line.
you give. Oh,
Abuela has a
God.
line when Antonio puts possums or something in her seat to warm it up. He's like, I wanted to warm up your seat. And she's like, we'll find a purpose for you.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, shut up, Abuela.
Let the boy
Cállate
live.
la boca, Abuela. Cállate.
Okay, I think
Felix
that's it, though.
is dad goals.
Felix
I love
is
all
great.
the dads.
Felix is
Oh,
great.
can we talk about how there's just two strong, there for their family, father and husbands in this film?
Yes, they're not super there. Like they're there, but they're not like
No.
super
You
there.
got to rewatch this again. Pepe's husband throughout
Uh-huh.
this whole film. If you watch in the background, because Pepe has this power where she's like, anytime she gets anything, it's an emotion. So she's told to keep her emotions in check, in check, in
Yeah.
check. If you watch, her husband is, and her family and her son and daughter too, are like comforting her behind the scenes, offering her tea,
That is
telling her
true.
it's okay,
It is
telling her the
nice.
rain's fine. They are supporting them so much. Maybe Maribel's dad hasn't done too much, but he did do that one scene where he yelled at Abuela.
Yeah,
He
Yeah,
yelled at her.
Yeah.
You don't yell at your mother-in-law.
that's true. That's a death sentence right there.
Oh, Daron, but yeah, Maribel's dad is the only one who stands up to Abuela. Yeah, even
Mhm.
Olieta, her mom is like, hey, can we be like nicer to Maribel? That straight up yelled at her.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You don't get
It's just
that.
they weren't front and center as much.
Well, because they did, which is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Their wives were front and center.
Yeah,
And their kids were front and center. It's wild.
I agree. They
They
are good dads.
considered
They're good
giving
dads.
Augustine and Felix powers when they married into the family, but ultimately decided to keep it only Madrigal children to represent family roles and expectations. Thank you, Lexi. I
It's
didn't know that. I'm
better that
glad
it's just
they made the right call.
children. Yeah.
Yeah.
They made the absolute right call.
Oh, and what are you talking about when he sings We Don't
Oh
Talk
my
About Bruno
God.
with his wife Pepe? And Pepe's like, who's telling this story? He's like, sorry, sweetie, yes, of course. And he's like, la 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 la, just like supporting her.
Uh-huh.
It's beautiful.
No, I like
Beautiful.
I like that you're so passionate about this movie. It makes me excited. I like it too. It's a great fucking movie. We talked about how
There's
much we
just
loved
so
it
many
for
little things.
an
Yeah.
hour and a half.
Yeah, we did. I'll stop. Is there anything else you'd like to talk to me about?
I think
Encanto?
I am good. I think I'm
Okay.
good. There's probably something I
Oh.
missed, I'm sure, but I am.
Oh, I'm sure, guys. If we missed
Mhm.
anything, leave us a comment on @NowTryThisCast anywhere and let us know what we missed. We will talk about this movie for days. Hell, you want us to have a whole other episode? We'll do it. Let us know.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, it's so funny. Sometimes we do this podcast. I'm like, I sit here and I wonder how long could we possibly talk about something? Like sometimes
Honestly,
we
it's
talk
usually
about
an
it
hour
for
and a half.
twice as long, than the thing that we watched. It's interesting. I think we could talk about
Somehow
this
it's
for
almost
at
always
least
an
4
hour and a
hours.
half. It's like
Somehow it's
Invisible
always
Hand
close to
of-
an hour and a half.
Yeah, the length of time of the film. Well, Marcus,
Okay.
that was Encanto. Thank you so
Mhm.
much for watching it and
Hell yeah.
taking my challenge. Guys, join our conversations. Join us at patreon.com/NowTryThisCast. We are currently taking suggestions for next month's challenge. Please submit in due time, because then everybody that gives just $1 gets to vote on what we're going to do next month. There's already some crazy cool suggestions. I'm really excited to see what we're going to do next month,
Same.
because the gambit on the suggestions is already kind of wild. So
Yeah.
I'm really riled about what it's going to be. We don't know what the challenge is, Krim, yet. Every month we take submissions at the $5 tier, and then the $1 tier vote near the end of the month, and we find out what the challenge is
Yeah,
going
so-
to be. You can also get at us everywhere at NowTryThisCast. Go ahead, Marcus. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say the poll will be going up in the next couple of days to start voting. So we're still taking a couple of submissions.
Oh, in general, what's the next week challenge? We hadn't there yet, Krim.
That's
Actually, we
true.
forgot. Marcus, go ahead.
No, we didn't
What's the challenge
forget.
gonna
You
be
have
next
to ask me the 3 questions, and then I give you the challenge.
week? Yes, 3 questions. You're right. I'm sorry, Encanto's messed me up. It's too good. It's too good. Marcus, did you like
need
this
to ask
film?
me the 3 questions. I love.
like this film?
It was
Good.
fantastic.
Would you recommend this film?
I would recommend the shit out of this film, Nick.
Everyone should watch it. Everyone.
Yeah.
And then the third one is, are you going to watch it again?
I will watch it again. I will definitely watch this again in my lifetime.
Same. I've already watched it 3 times, and I
That's too
suspect the
many.
next couple months I'll watch it again.
Okay, Nick.
All right, Marcus.
Challenge.
What are we
time.
doing next week? Yep. Next week, Thursday,
I'm
8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
I'm stuck because I haven't really been watching anything new that I'm like, oh, I love this. I need to recommend this. So I can give you something that changed my life, or I can give you something I know you will hate. Now, I'm not going to say the thing I gave you that changed my life you'll like, but it did change my life. And I'm going to let you pick which one.
What are my two choices again? Change your life or what?
Something that that changed my life, or
Yeah.
something that I know you're going to hate.
Guys, put it in the chat. I'll let the chat decide. Is next week's challenge something I am absolutely going to hate, or something that changed Marcus's life that he wants to share with me, his best friend?
Yeah.
Put in the chat. What do you think it should be? We'll give a second for the lag to catch up.
Okay.
Tell us what we are doing next week. In the meantime, Marcus, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Okay, so we have 2 for changed life and 1 for.
Oh, I didn't tell you, Marcus. Guess what I watched
What'd you
all of this
watch?
last week? All of series 6 of Taskmaster. I don't know
You
why.
watched
I don't know why.
Taskmaster?
I don't know why. It just came up on my
Oh,
feed. I was just
yes!
watching tons of other stuff, and there was a random click, and it had Alice Levine, who I like from the My Dad Wrote a Porno podcast.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, she's funny, and I watched it, and then I was like, well, I want to watch the episode now, and it was the first episode, and now I'm like episode 6 or 7, and I'm definitely gonna finish that series, and I'm like, oh my god, somehow you irrevocably got
Hell
me
yeah.
interested in Taskmaster. I hate you. Okay.
Okay, so I think
let's
the
see.
chat has
We got
said, Nick, you want to count?
one change. You count the hates, I'll count the changed life.
Okay.
We got 2 and
Okay.
2.
Hate. Okay, it's 2 and 2. Yeah, it's 2 and 2.
Oh, okay, Darren said hate. I guess it's
Okay,
hate.
hate. Okay, so that's the tiebreaker, and I'm gonna say,
Shout out to our producer. Dan.
I hope you haven't watched this. It's called The Art of Self-Defense.
Shut up. That stupid fucking
Jesse
Lex
Eisenberg
Luthor.
movie?
Oh no.
Have you watched that
You are not
movie?
making me watch this film.
It's
What's the other option? I want to do the other thing.
No, you said it's too late. The other option,
No, I want to do the other thing.
I will tell you, the other option was A Silent Voice. It was
Is that the
between
anime?
the anime, A Silent Voice. That movie
Let's do
changed
the
my
anime.
life. No, it's too late. We're doing The Art of
No,
Self-Defense.
let's do the anime.
We're doing The Art of Self-Defense.
Can we
next week.
please do the anime?
No. Art of Self-Defense next week. Let's go.
Oh,
Silent-
Imogen Poots is in it. I love her.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
I'll
you're
try
gonna
this
love it.
movie.
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Okay. Well,
All
that's
right,
the episode.
fine. Oh wait, they were both in Vivarium. Is it a sequel to Vivarium?
That's not a sequel to Vivarium. It's a prequel.
Did you
to
watch Vivarium?
No.
Did you watch Vivarium?
No, I need to watch
Can
it.
you do me a favor and also watch Vivarium, and we'll talk about
Sure.
that during the
Okay,
show
sounds
too?
good.
Great,
Okay.
cool, great. Okay, but we will do a Silent Voice soon though, because honestly, I am waiting to watch that film until you give it to me.
Yeah, we
so I
are.
haven't
We'll
watched
do
it yet.
Silent Voice soon.
Okay, but
Promise.
next week we are doing The Art of Defense, the
Self-defense.
2-year-old movie, 3-year-old movie that no one talks about. Perfect.
You're welcome. Gotta stay
Guys,
on
you
brand.
Guys, you can get us everywhere at Now Try This Cast. You can leave us 5-star reviews on iTunes and on Spotify now. It greatly helps the popularity of the show. If you do that, you can join us at patreon.com/nowtrythiscast to join the community. Thank you so much for listening, and come back next Thursday.
Okay. Thank you guys for joining us. Now go out there and try some things. Good night.
Good night.
Friends get together so they can try things. Yell about it, it's podcast so that you can try things. Now we will stop singing so that we can all now try this.
I mean, I'd appreciate it if you were a little less sexy. It'd be easier for me to do my job.
Oh, I'm sorry. I can't help it. It's a burden. Oh, you're over
Oh,
there. That's
and to
why.
respond to what you said in the thing, I have more than enough to talk about. I just might have too much to talk.
That's fair.
I'm not scared. I'm not gonna have stuff to talk about.